Hi there! It's Jenny from Quick Anime Recap. And today we're continuing the part 2 of the anime, Oremo. So sit tight and enjoy the video. The anime continues with Ayase surprised to see Kirino outside of the Comiket venue, as she expects her to be busy with club activities at school. As it turns out, Ayase is going for a photo shoot in the area, and she assumes that the two are dating. She also notices Kuroneko and Saori behind them, who decide to leave upon judging the situation. Ayase wonders what the occasion is, and Kirino uncontrollably spills information despite trying to be ignorant about the summer Comiket. Kyosuke realizes that she is bad at lying and tries to bail her out, but Ayase grabs her hand. At that moment, Ayase's expression dramatically changes. She accuses Kirino of lying to her, and she confronts her about hiding something. She then asks Kirino on the contents of the bag she is carrying, which Kirino flees from her, but Ayase quickly grabs onto the bag and rips it open, and the eroge stuff she purchased spill out. When Ayase read one of those manga, she announces that they can no longer be friends. At home, Kirino takes a lonely shower while Kyosuke calls Saori to thank her for helping out. He assures them that Kirino is fine, although he has no idea how much the confrontation has hurt Kirino. September is closely approaching, and Kirino is confronted by Kyosuke about school. Despite her rejections, Kyosuke stubbornly shows that he wants her and Ayase to make up and will not leave her alone until she tells the full story. Kirino then finally admits that she hasn't been able to do anything to regain her friendship with Ayase. After kicking Kyosuke and hitting him a few times, Kirino reminds her brother that she still cares for Ayase, and tells him that the life consultation is still not over and Kyosuke has to take responsibility up to the end. That afternoon, Kyosuke calls Ayase, and finds Ayase blames Kyosuke for what is happening. Ayase points out how she saw the negative side of having eroge as a hobby, especially the one regarding a little girl tasered by a fan of eroge, which he realizes it can't just be debunked judging from the number of articles relating eroge and crimes. At a later day, Ayase is confronted by Kyosuke. Kyosuke talks to Ayase about the case of the eroge fan. It turns out that the man is never involved with eroge game, and is attacking a young girl as a lolicon. With Kyosuke's father to help him gather evidence, he gives Ayase a small folder which has the information left out by the news. In the end, Ayase decides to take back her opinion regarding otakus, but still keeps her point on Kirino's hobby being disgusting. Kirino then appears out of nowhere, approaching Ayase and telling her that she likes her hobby and it will never affect how she treats her friends. Despite this, Ayase remains strong regarding her hate for indecent manga, and it confuses her to tears. Kyosuke then makes up that all of the indecent manga are his, because he loves his little sister. And it worked, making Ayase stands up to Kirino, and she threatens Kyosuke to not touch her before running off with Kirino. With that, Ayase's image of Kyosuke was damaged, and she became good friends with Kirino again. At school, Manami plans on celebrating Halloween and she discusses it with Kyosuke. She also wants Kyosuke to have a first taste of the stuff she made before the fair the next day, and Kyosuke can't turn down an offer from his best friend. Soon, one of his classmates curiously asks him about his status with Manami, and Kyosuke flatly admits that they are not going out. However, Kyosuke also declares that he will beat up anyone who will turn up to be Manami's boyfriend. At home, Kirino arrives from school and receives a body pillow she ordered online. Luckily for Kirino, her mother did not demand any further details, so she manages to carry the package up her room without any troubles. Meanwhile, Kyosuke accompanies Manami to her family store. She invites him inside the family residence, and in the living room, they saw Manami's grandfather motionless on top of the table. Things get frantic when Kyosuke asks Manami to call the ambulance. However, Manami's grandmother enters the room and assures him that her husband is alive, which she then forces her husband out of the prank by threatening to pluck out his hair. Manami is relieved to know that her grandfather is still alive, but Kyosuke is so angry at him that he wanted to punch him for the prank. Soon, Manami takes out the sweets she made, and shyly asks him to eat some to get his opinion about it. Kyosuke finds the sweets delicious and praises Manami for it, which she blushes in response, which Manami's grandfather whispers from under the table, advising the two to get married soon. Embarrassed by the remark, Manami drags Kyosuke upstairs to her room. Meanwhile, Kirino is enjoying the Stardust Witch Maruru body pillow she ordered. Soon, Kyosuke helps out with carrying things into the house, and at the end of the day, Manami thanks him for his help. She then tells Kyosuke that her family are happy to see him after a long time, and wishes him to stay the night. Kyosuke finds that he has no choice anyway, so he accepts the offer. Meanwhile, Kirino learns that Kyosuke won't be staying in the house for the night, and hears her parents talking about contacting Manami's parents to send their regards. After enjoying dinner, Manami asks Kyosuke to take the bath first, which she decides to tease him by jokingly asking him to share a bath with her. However, he manages to turn the joke against her by actually accepting her favor. She frantically calls her grandparents to help, but considering their support for the pairing, it was futile anyway. After taking a bath, Manami takes Kyosuke to another room near her bedroom. But, the two discover that their futons have been moved into one room. It was all her grandfather's plan to make them sleep together. Although Kyosuke rejects the idea, seeing that Manami doesn't mind the idea makes Kyosuke change his mind. That night, Kyosuke and Manami reminisce on their past. And after several minutes, neither of them was able to sleep. Curious, Kyosuke soon opens the topic he encountered at school. What if someone tells her that the person likes her? Manami, surprised by the question, tells him that she does not know what to do, before returning the same question to him. Kyosuke calmly answers that he would reject them as he preferred a peaceful life. Manami finally decides to sleep, asking Kyosuke if she could come to his house, and Kyosuke agrees. Meanwhile, a bitter Kirino rolls around on her bed, telling her brother not to come back. The next day, Kyosuke arrives home, only to find no one inside. Upon opening the lights, he is shocked to find out that Kuroneko is sitting on the couch. She later explains that Saori proposes they watch each other's favorite anime, so that both of them can give their unique commentary on it. And Kirino agrees to the proposal, suggesting that they watch it together at her house. After preparing a short snack for Kuroneko, Kyosuke decides to delve into the conflict between them. According to Kuroneko, a novel is partly responsible for their fight, and described it as so bad that she wants to kill her because of it. What angered her the most is the character modeled after her is violated and killed. Appalled by how she was treated in the story, Kyosuke decides to cheer her up by praising her critic of Kirino's novel. He then checks up on Kirino, and discovers that she is busy playing eroge alone, which he is shocked that she has the time to play eroge while having a visitor. She puts the blame on Kuroneko, and shows a copy of a novel that Kuroneko authored. She proceeds to complain about her novel being too long, and the need to read a supplementary book to understand everything. And to top it all off, Kirino finds a character modeled after her as the main character's own pleasure slave. Kyosuke is revolted by that, however, he realizes that the opposite just happened with Kuroneko. Soon, Kyosuke brings Kirino down to the living room and tells them that they should focus on watching Maruru for the meantime. As soon as the first episode plays, Kuroneko begins criticizing Maruru for its content, which to her, mixes the concept of eroge and loli. Kirino defends Maruru by saying that the theme for the series is friendship, which Kuroneko instantly questions it. Sparks start to fly between the two girls, and Kyosuke can only say that their argument is what he can call his friendship. The next day, Kyosuke is welcomed by an angry Kirino, because she learns that he is browsing Ecchi sites on her laptop. Kyosuke did not dismiss her claim and apologizes, which she declares that he must do something to make up for it. In fact, Kirino only wanted someone to review her latest novel. According to her, she had it submitted in the website of a book publisher. She feels that she has the potential to make a good novel, so she plans on making another one called Little Sister City, much to Kyosuke's shock, and he gets dragged to Shibuya to help her start writing. Kirino tells her brother about the plot of Little Sister City, where the main character saves little girls and slowly rebuilds the world. She then asks Kyosuke to get hit by a speeding car just for her to feel the main character. Of course, Kyosuke rejects the idea, and Kirino decides to go with pictures instead. She then drags his brother into some shopping, and asks him to buy her an expensive ring, using plot research as excuse. Kyosuke admits that he does not have the money for the purchase, so she decides to go to a store with much cheaper accessories. Kyosuke's irritation for being forced into the whole thing begins to show. He ends up criticizing Kirino's work. But then, Karino drenches herself in water, reenacting a scene from the novel that she plans to write. Although overcome by shock, Kyosuke decides to cover her soaked clothes with his jacket and takes her to a hotel. As Karino freshens up, Kyosuke gets a call from Manami, who wants to invite him to eat some Christmas cake she prepared. He accepts her request, but is forced to hang up when Karino finishes. After leaving the hotel, Karino suddenly gets an idea while they walk along the roadside. As Karino leads on, he thinks about how messed up his Christmas Eve was. While Karino's novel becomes increasingly popular, her editor reveals that it may be adapted into an anime. Overjoyed, she invites Saori and Kuroneko with her to the anime staff meeting. However, she is shocked at the number of changes the anime staff requested, most notably changing the lead protagonist from female to male. Some days later, Karino collapses from exhaustion after returning home, so Kyosuke takes Karino's place at the next meeting in order to plead her case. Upon the start of the meeting, the group are given a summary of changes to the novel. The producer harshly criticizes Karino's work, calling it as unfit to be adapted into an anime series, and simply uninteresting, which Kuroneko uses her blunt attitude to focus on the producer, whom she knows have failed to create a decent income as a writer, and tells that his pride might have clouded his judgment on Karino's work. It is then Kyosuke finally mustered his courage to talk again, and he talks as Karino's brother, and requests them to allow Karino to be happy by making the anime based on her novel. He does not want his sister to die of depression, nor see her heartbroken. With this, he pleads to them, asking them once again to reconsider looking into Karino's novel. Kuroneko soon expresses her agreement to Kyosuke's request and pleads as well. On the train ride home, Kyosuke tells Kuroneko and Saori to keep his involvement a secret from Karino. Kuroneko questions Kyosuke's dedication to his sister and then expresses envy at having an older siblings. Later at home, Karino receives a summary of contents of the anime series production of her novel, and is pleased that she managed to keep most of her ideas into the project, and thinks that her efforts have been fruitful, not knowing the efforts that her brother, Saori and Kuroneko have to exert to make it possible. Soon, Karino tells Kyosuke one last thing before he leaves, that is the next live counseling session would be the last. Thanks for watching the video. Still want to watch more anime recap? Click the video on the screen to watch more, and don't forget to subscribe to catch the latest upload.